Storytelling Ron here. I'm going to talk about Star Wars role-playing game, Edge of the Empire beginning game, and how you can set up, or kind of like a playthrough, but also how I set up things. So here we go. This is the first time I actually GM'd for the Star Wars RPG. I do D&D, um, but I want to get into sci-fi and Star Wars coming out and all that. And I'm in Disney Plus and Mandalorian, so I've been kind of like, oh yeah, I want to do some sci-fi, and obviously Star Wars is a good place to start because it's got plenty of material, and I'm playing with my family members, and you know, it's a good way to connect. Like, oh, okay, they get it. So for this one, I've had my brother and my future brother-in-law, and then of course my daughter. She's 15, so and she generally gets stuck drafted into playing. Um, she's kind of like my guinea pig as well. So, um, how I and this is like and I've been looking on YouTube and I haven't really been finding a whole lot of. I've been finding a lot of people reviewing Star Wars material, which is cool, but I haven't found a lot of people showing you kind of what you really just have to do to set stuff up. Now, this is based off of the beginner game, and I didn't. I'm a GM and I DM GM. I've been doing this for a while, so I didn't want to just do like the linear. I do tend to railroad. I do tend to, and I like doing it that way. But I wanted to make this, especially at low level or when they first starting, and I'm still learning. And I kind of just wanted to give them more free space or sandboxy, so they can kind of make decisions on what they wanted to do. So obviously, I the beginner game. I know the setup. Let me just zoom in here so you can kind of get a basic understanding of what the setup is. The setup is basically you start off at the Cantina, and it's cool they give you this map of Mashuta. You start off at the Cantina, which is here. You get chased by Gamorrean guards. It's just like automatic action. You fight them or hide or whatever, and then from there you got to go to. Jeez, I don't know the exact order, but I mean But anyway, then they got to go to this. They know. Oh, then the bartender tells them there's a Crepe Fang, which is like a Millennium Falcon in here, but you have to go to the spaceport to loosen it or unclamp it. Then you got to fight the droids and the main person there, or sneak through, whatever your options are. And then you get here, you get the ship, and you take off. So it's kind of like three different actions. Now there's all this other stuff in here that is not in the beginner game. And I mean, at least from what I recall. There is Timo the Hutt. He's here, which is cool. So what I wanted to do is, this was all cool. I liked it. I like Jawa traders, all this stuff, dewback stables. This is cool. So I kind of wanted to make it more open, like they could kind of go where they wanted. And I pushed the story along a little bit, but with that same kind of story. But I wanted them to go ahead and explore if they wanted to. And they did a little bit, but definitely the story was moving along. So what I had them do. What they did, or just so you know what they did get the Crepe Fang. They took out the 4 droid. They killed Trex. That was I made that because I'm still getting used to all the dice rolling and doing all that stuff. I didn't really make Trex very interesting. He just shot at them and they shot back, and there was some cover. I should have made it more interesting, but I'm just still kind of working through all this. There was a transponder that was sending a signal to Timo, so they did know that they sent that off, so they're very worried about that. Now I'm kind of making that is a threat. I made a little threat list, and that's one of them, the transponder, so that so they know that the ship was stolen or Trex is dead. Like that's a warning thing. I did have that in there, and so one of the characters used the computer to like Mike plays Posh, the smuggler Han Solo character. Chris is playing the Chewbacca character, Warlick or whatever it is. I got the things here. Lorik, and then Scarlett played Oscara, and she's the bounty hunter. But I think she was the one that figured out the transponder thing on the thing. And I'm learning all the basics, like like for instance. Well, let me go through the order of what they did. So they were I started them at the Cantina, but I started during the day. It was kind of, empty. And a few people, the bartender, and they went through, and the Gamorrean guard, they hid in the, let me get a picture here. I think I got this set up somewhere. So there's the Cantina, and these are all images you can find. When I start playing a game, I start scouring the internet for the images I can use digitally, and PDFs that any extra information. And Reddit is good for that. Where else? Well, even the Fantasy Flight site has some PDFs that you can download. They're helpful, and they have a community that has a lot of links too. So if you go to their community board, there's a lot of people posting helpful stuff. So that's where I was finding everything. And the Cantina, they came in, and I put this on my big 43-inch widescreen TV, and I have my miniatures, and I'll probably take pictures. I've taken pictures of that. I don't know if I took pictures of this one though. But anyway, they hid in the closet. The Gamorrean guards came in. The bartender actually helped them. Another character, I had another sort of minor character or NPC run through and help them and distract the Gamorrean guards. So there was no action, the way they rolled it out, and so. But when the Gamorrean guards left, they talked to the bartender, and so I gave him information on what could do, like the Crepe Fang, going to get the ship, who team up, and I basically gave them easy stuff, like in the sense of they knew this town, so it wasn't like anything was a mystery here, as far as what and whatever they asked me, I would answer because they knew the basics of Marshutta. They knew where to get things, that wasn't that unfamiliar to them, so I let that be helpful to them. They dealt with, and I put this image on the TV and just zoomed it out, so they literally had their little paper minis and were kind of moving along. And I had the Gamorrean guards hang out the watchtower, because they want, or water tower, because they want the water, because they're fat and they need water, and just like me. And they kind of they had their stuff, so they didn't have much money, so they just kind of ignored most of the shops. But I described it a little bit, but they pretty much got over to the landing bay, and there was 2 battle droids, so they did a little sneak around type of thing, and they were trying to be cautious and all that, but they did have a fight here with 2 droids here, and then they got into the landing bay, and so I just did 2 battle droids fight there. I'm still trying to learn the dice; they're still learning, but that was their choice. They could have gone anywhere, but that's where they wanted to go. And then, where's the picture? And then so this is the Crepe Fang image. And now the beginning game comes with a big fold out, which is really nice, and you can use little tokens. But I got this and I put it on the TV so I can zoom up, and then they can move around. And they killed the 2 battle droids on the outside, and they came in here, and there's 2 battle droids here, the B1s, the simple ones. And I'm not using minions yet, where you can do groups of them, because they're low level and I'm still kind of learning the dice, and so I'm just using single. And they came in, they fought those 2. Trex came down, and they basically just had a fight here with cover along the ramp. And I did it was a little boring for me. Not the fight. For them, they was having fun, but for me, because I should have made Trex more interesting. I would probably just reuse him again as another character, Trex 2 or something. And I'm still even getting used to the species, because even Chris knew more about Star Wars than me as far as the names. I'm very bad with nomenclature. I'm very bad with remembering, trivia of anything, and even people's names. So, but it's funny because he was bringing up all the races and stuff. And I'm still even getting familiarized, even though I've known the Star Wars mythology for so long. I just watch. I just don't remember the names or the races and all that. Anyway, so they came in. Now, if you want this beginner's game, if you want to do like I did and did Sandbox and have this far-reaching information concerning different things, there's 2 other resources that I thankfully had read before we played, and I was just enjoying reading them like a book, like a story. It's kind of funny that role-playing is really role-playing game material is kind of my reading. I just enjoy reading that way, and it gives me ideas for my writing. So I read. I'll show you the 2 that I've found, or one of them is this source, which is this is when you buy the beginner game, then they tell you to go get this on their website. So it's the Long Arm of the Hutt. Now this is a continuation of the beginning game, and it has more information. And they could go to Ryloth, which is the where the Twi'leks live. So it's a continuation of the story. So I actually read through this and knew all this information, and this character is connected to that, Alskara, because she's a Twi'lek. I believe that's how you pronounce it, Twi'lek. I just heard that on the Clone Wars because I'm watching that, and So, and of course, in the Crepe Fang, in the long arm of the hut, there's Wookiee hides hidden in the ship, and that's not mentioned in the beginning game. It's mentioned in the long arm of the hut. So in the long arm of the hut, there's a whole section on the Crepe Fang, like what's in there, what what you can get, what stinks, and uh, uh, what issues. Like there's the whole transponder klaxon thing, and I didn't play it 100% correctly, but that's fine. So there's an astromech droid broken up that they can repair. There's a prisoner. Now it's a Twi'lek. So they have to deal with that prisoner. They so in the beginning game they went and explored the Crepe Fang. So I'm like, oh, thankfully I had all this. I didn't, and again, I did it based off of memory. I didn't realize I had to memorize this stuff because I didn't know they were going to do this. But thankfully I did, and I had vaguely what it was, so I just brought out stuff. And some of it's incorrect, but I'm going to play it that way anyway, or whatever. But it's close enough. What the info that they went around looking at stuff. They didn't find the Wookiee hides yet, but everything stinks, everything's dirty. I really emphasized the smell of this place and all that. And they did look through the crew quarters, and I didn't go into enough detail about that. Like the prices and the credits that they could get. And I believe in the number 3 hold was supposed to be the prisoner, but I put him in this cage right here, and this I used as the dead body of the chitin, the whatever, the insectoids, and that's the thing. And I didn't have the right exact clues, but whatever, that's fine. So they have the Crepe Fang now, and I believe that's the end of that. That was the end of that. So that was good. I enjoyed it. They enjoyed it. They hopefully will get to play again. My brother and the future brother-in-law, because my brother's getting married soon. They're they got their jobs and all that, and so we'll try to play whenever we can. And so I could play with like real people, but I guess I've got family members and they like playing and I like playing, and so that's kind of mostly what I'm doing. I do have a regular group for the Storm King's Thunder, but and that one's tough to schedule because it's the holidays and Christmas and Thanksgiving, but they're in Hollywood and their schedules are like gone for a week, gone for 2 weeks or whatever, doing film stuff. So that's kind of like, but it's okay. I got family members that I play with and enjoy doing this with. I got both my daughters and one of the daughter's boyfriends and all that. So I'm pretty busy with all of that. So what do I have here? So I have here is the list of the things that they found, what they're going to be doing. I've got some issues like 20 fuel cells. I have to, and I'm trying, in Star Wars, you got to figure out like, well, okay, so what is a fuel cell? What is all the, what do you need? What's the cost to run a ship? There's the operational costs and stuff. So you got to kind of have to figure this stuff out and create your own little ideal of what things cost in this world. And so it does take a little bit of work to read around and search around and find info. So I'm getting all this info, and it's time consuming, but it's kind of like my hobby. It's what I enjoy doing. So this is all the information that they kind of have now, and I got to review the next time we play. And then this is the character they rescued and what he has, and he's going to watch the ship for them while they go out to deal with. They have to go to the spaceport. They have to leave the ship there. They're worried about the transponder because they did turn it off, but it could, had a threat. They rolled a threat, so they still think it may at some point, the hut may realize that they, the ship's been taken. But they still have to get the hyperspace matter. Oh yeah, there's that. They went to. Oh yeah, that's right. There's the hyperspace device, and they went to the junk shop. That's right. That's another part of the story. I forgot. They went to the junk shop here and dealt with the guy, but they failed, so they didn't get anything. But it's kind of funny. But they did get information. So they failed the roll, but they got the advantage, which was info, and that was what also led them to the landing bay. So yeah, there was that. And so they did go. Yeah, they did the cantina. They did the junk shop. They did a sneak around over here, and then did the landing bay. And I tried, as they passed along, I definitely tried to explain all the different little locations they could go to and things they could deal with, and Shantytown and all that. So they're not they're so the next thing I got to do is go to the spaceport and try to get the thing unclamped so that they can take off, but they still got to get the hyperspace thing, and repair the ship. So there's that. They do know there's stormtroopers in the area, and they know they got to try to avoid Timo Hutt and his Gamorrean guards. But hopefully they'll. I'll probably stick to them playing this Mos Shuta, and then if they go to Ryloth, the other planet, but then hopefully back and forth kind of a thing. We'll see. But it was good. That was a nice beginner game. And oh yeah, here's my threat list of things that. So if they ever roll like a really bad threat, these are the things they're going to pop up on them. The Gamorrean guards, which they haven't fought yet. Timo's tech droid notices the transponder of the Trek ship is hacked, so he's going to send out some hunters on them, separate from the Gamorrean guards. Stormtroopers find them. There could be 1 to 2 groups of them. Trandoshan gang seeks revenge. They must know Trex is dead or ship is taken. That's probably the one that'll be with the Timo, but we'll see. I mean, I haven't figured that totally out yet. But anyway, that's it. That was the beginner game. It was pretty fun figuring this all out. And again, as a GM, you got to start realizing what costs are, what prices are, the species. You got to make it more colorful. I'm totally collecting. As you know, I have a Patreon called patreon.com mini dudes. It's MINIDOODS, dudes, DOODS, mini dudes. And I will be posting a lot of Star Wars minis on there shortly for free, because I'm doing the theme of the action figures, or toys, or the sculptures that look like toys as the minis. So I'll be posting them on there for free. Because obviously I didn't create those, and I probably will start drawing some original creatures and things like that, because these definitely, it's like D&D. You definitely can have any monsters you want in this thing. I'm gonna do lost temples, dungeon crawls for this, and the magic items. You got to look at it as like the tech. Like adding each weapon and stuff. They have hard points. So you can add tech to it to make them a little better. Like they'll give them an extra bonus die, to their attack or whatever. So there's that kind of magic, that they can start acquiring different things. I'll start doing that. I'm starting, you can read up on the tech and you can make something up, anything you want. They got a laser pistol. Oh, we got an extra magazine holder, 150 credits. What's that do? Well, that'll, anytime you have a threat where you run out of ammo, this counters it 1 time or 2 times, or it just counters it, whoa, yes, or whatever, something like that. You can always come up with little things that help them as magical items. But anyway, so I just wanted to make a video that was more about how I GM and what you can do and different things, and just off the top of my head. This one, I'm going to do another one pretty quickly, because I just did a separate adventure with with family members as well. That's because this one is with my brother, so I don't know how often we'll get to do it. And then that's my, so that's one storyline. And then I have another storyline with my 2 daughters and the boyfriend who's back from college, and we'll see how that one works out. That one, we over the holidays we'll probably play a little more often. But anyway, yeah. So this one's the beginner game, explaining how I did it. And this is kind of cool. I totally feel like it's in the Star Wars goofy world. A lot of fun, and hope this helps you, give you ideas, and then helps you kind of understand a little bit about how to GM. All right, that's it. Okay, I forgot to mention one last thing. I found this supplement, the City of Mos Shuta. It's some old PDF or something. It was made by some, and now I checked some of these websites and they were not working. So I don't know, But anyway, I found it somewhere. I don't, you got to look around. I think probably on either Reddit or in the community. Fantasy flight games. But anyway, it's cool because it gives you kind of a rundown of the of Mos Shuta, the different it's basic stuff, the people that run the different shops, and it was helpful. I liked it. I kind of used this too, so I knew all the different areas and if they wanted to go there. So yeah, this was really helpful too. So I just wanted to add that. This is the long arm of the Hutt. And then this is the Mos Shuta supplement, which is some free thing somewhere. I don't know where I found it. Anyway, so that's it. Just want to add that. Addendum.